Welcome to our Valpo Rotary Club meeting on this beautiful October 18th day. And thank you for Greg Gottschalk for taking care of our technology, and Mary Jo, the media today, Mary Jo Jamie, AKA the lady with the talented daughters. You can tell us later about this week. And thank you to our greeters, Deb Pressel, her lovely daughter Paige, Matt Evans, and Mike O'Donoghue. So we'll start off with the pledge and then the national anthem. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, and Diane Jordan will come lead us in our invocation. Diane, the publisher of North-South Valpo Neighbors.
Good morning. We were talking recently about charity, and I was reading this I wanted to share. What each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. And a young man shared with me yesterday that he'd been thinking about charity and how, and thinking about cars. And the point was that sometimes we don't know where to start, where to give, and where to donate our benefits, and what to do. But God cannot guide us. And so to get started, we just need to start, and then we will be guided. So my prayer.
Thank you, and Mr. Matt Evans from Greenex Lifestyles. We have some guest speakers today.
We do, Deb. Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. We have some great guests here today. First of all, our guest of Deb Good is Judy Molasco. Judy is from Valparaiso High School, Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education. So that is not correct all the way, is it? Can you confirm that? It is, okay. So she is the Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education at Valpo High School.
No, Valpo Communities.
Thank you. That's what I thought was wrong. Sorry, Judy, we got that. But we're really glad to have you here today, and we know the Molasco name, so again,
Yeah,
welcome. Everybody say hi to Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Greg Miller is from Total Experience. He's the owner of the company, and I believe they're a chemicals company. And if you have more questions, you can talk to Greg personally after the meeting. But anyway, Greg is a guest of Diane Jordan, and would everybody say hi to Greg?
Hi, Greg.
Paige Pressel is a guest. She is at Huntington University as a freshman in a 4-year program there, becoming an accountant. And she is the guest of Deb, her mom. Everybody please say hi to Paige.
Hi, Paige.
And that's it. Everybody have a great week.
And remember, for the month of October, if you bring a guest, see me to fill out a card to put in the drawing. One for you, one for your guest, for a nice drawing at the end of the month. So we'll have Sergeant of Arms now. And this, what is it you do?
Not much. Not much.
You know.
This is the part of the meeting where I tell Paige she has to talk.
All right, let's see, good news, good news. It's best time of the day, by the way. Any other times, just rest. Nice to have you.
I wanted to present to our president of the club a framed copy of the Valparaiso magazine, which you all will be getting in the very near future, which shows her and the president of that other club that's in town. And I will say this, Deb, you have a lovely smile. Your whole face lights up.
Thank you.
Sir, other good news. Good news, good news. Oh, here's good news. I would love to.
I would just like all of you to know that we're very proud of Miss Chrissy over here. We ran the Chicago Marathon last week.
Oh, thank you. I can. Yeah, that's all right. It's less fun. Congratulations. Ah, good news.
Last report, there are still no suicides in Iowa yet this year. This weekend, I mean.
We'll get to that. That's good.
That was in the magazine where there was a lot about Rotary Club. It was great. They, Devitt put in there how old she thought I was because it's so long in this club. But that's not true. She figured the math. She's wrong. You could join a Rotary when you were 16 back then.
Right, your horse in the road. 16. All right. Anybody else on the way over there? Yeah.
So my basket is starting to get heavy. So this is the basket where we're taking donations. We're going to send care packages to our 12 scholarship winners that are at college. And we've got pretzels and pens, granola bars. But next week I am still taking donations. We have one more week. If you still
he's not going to turn your lights out for you.
these out around the 1st of November.
No, he's been out hosting for years.
That's starting to fill in. You're not going to get just.
Growing out a freaky mullet. He does still own you. You love it. You love it.
I guarantee you.
Hey, you wish he was
Happy to see me stand up and start it. I made a whole trip to North Carolina.
Yeah, all stuff wasn't good enough.
There in Southern California, and according to San Diego,
So we're not going to tell a challenge story. We're going to talk about something else that we're doing tomorrow, and that is
winning
we're paying attention on set.
baseball operation on Mosaic called philosophical differences, and upon talking to some folks around
And
coaching issues.
talking about it, it's like, Reed didn't think they were going to win. I'm like, be a marquee victory. It's like, don't know. So instead of doing today in history, I looked up the last time Purdue beat a #2 team on the road. 1974. They beat Ohio State a couple of years ago, but that was in Lafayette. The last time Purdue beat a team, #2 team on the road was the year Richard Nixon was president and left. That's how long it's been. The punk rock band, the Ramones, played their first show. That's how long it's been since Purdue's beat a #2 team. This is an old crowd. Who likes the Ramones?
What year?
1974.
Wasn't born.
Wasn't born. I wasn't either. I still like the Ramones. The Rumble in the Jungle between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and Zaire. That's how long it's been since Purdue beat #2 on the road. And the last one, I mean, if you're a Purdue fan, you can relate to this. Ronald DeFeo, who killed his entire family in the Amityville, Long Island house that eventually became the movie Amityville Horror Show. So that's the day in history, the last time Purdue beat a number 2 on the road.
Who'd they beat? Who'd they beat?
They beat, oh, that's a wonderful question. I don't have it in front of me. Who did they beat? Notre Dame. And I guess that would be Notre Dame against Southern.
I don't know what I ate for breakfast.
I'm really humbled to be on the front of that magazine.
Aw.
There's a lot of road. There's several awesome Rotarians interviewed in that article, all of which deserve the front cover more than me.
No way.
But I love it. Not really, honestly, if you know how surprised I was at that photo shoot shot. But I did tell them to shave some pounds off those hips, and they didn't. So it's kind of natural. So thank you so much. And make sure you read inside. Just amazing Rotarians telling their story. And next time, I will tell them how old you are. Okay, so John, would you like to talk about the highway cleanup?
Absolutely. So we had a beautiful day on last Saturday, and so much thanks to Deb that brought, I don't know how many, 12 kids from good kids. And if you missed the opportunity to be there, I talked to these kids, good loss. It's really, really helpful. Thanks to Martin for the safe and courteous bus driving. I tell you what, we really need to pick it up as a club and keep more of our members. We're promoting, bringing in kids from our clubs, other people that we have great opportunity to interact with. But other than that, for those that help, thank you very much. We got completed, so spring we'll have it.
Deb, did you want to add anything?
I'll just go talk in a second.
Okay. Okay, would Jem and Ellen like to talk about the Veterans Program now?
Sure. We just talk right here, I'll talk really loud, okay? Posters, flyers, 10 cards, all of it. Really, this event, we didn't get to have it last year. We're excited to have it this year. We've got a great speaker. We really want to see it turn out. So we have a ways to go, as Jim will tell you, on our ticket sales. But I ask that you put up the flyers and take them to your places of employment or wherever. But everybody knows a veteran, so please, if you can't come, maybe you want to consider buying a ticket to give to a veteran. So, all right. And if you want to tell them where we're at to date.
Yes, that other club we're talking about, they sold over 100 tickets and sold 18. Ooh. So bring your checkbook next week, please.
Okay, we're gonna have to bring the auctioneer in again.
Yeah, exactly.
I told him I wouldn't do that tonight.
Can I just say one more thing too? I just really nice, no offense to anyone else, but having the 2 Ricks back in the room to help us with the song.
Okay, Debbie is now going to talk about Purple Pinky.
What? Good video.
This is the story of Rotary's dream of a world free from polio. Disease which has been endemic in all countries of the world for thousands of years and left millions of people in the 20th century with permanent disabilities. Although cases of infantile paralysis have been rare, outbreaks of paralytic polio began to be seen at the end of the 19th century in rich countries such as England or America. The first polio vaccine was licensed in 1955. And mass vaccination of the population in rich countries dramatically reduced the number of polio cases. By the 1980s, the disease had been eradicated. However, hundreds of thousands of children were still suffering in poor countries, especially in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. In 1979, the first seeds were sown of what would become Rotary's greatest humanitarian achievement, when 6 million children in the Philippines were immunized with oral polio vaccine. The following sequence of slides charts the progress of Rotary's campaign to eradicate polio and highlights significant events along the way.
Probably wondering why are we talking about polio today? October 24th is Rotary's Polio Plus Day for eradication, and traditionally our club has done a lot around polio and eradicating, and we came alongside Bill Gates several years ago and helped meet the challenge with the money raised. I'm not going to go into all those details. On your table, I did put a flyer like here that this is the polio eradication as of October 12th. We're still in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Many of you know that this is something I'm very passionate about. In 2009, I had the opportunity to go to India and do the vaccinations with the kids. Jim Jeselnik, for those of you who know him, gave me this when I heard him speak, and he challenged me, and I asked him to keep one of these because I had a commitment that I was going to go. And a couple years later, I was able to give him his back because I did have that opportunity to go. The thing that we do when we go to India, any of these countries, it's required in these countries these children to be vaccinated. And when we vaccinate, we take an indelible marker and we put it on the little finger. And this is the way that the government and all healthcare workers know when a child has or has not been vaccinated in an effort to make sure that every child. So what our kids did starting 2 years ago at Morgan, and what you see here, we'll go ahead and show these pictures real quick. That's their poster, which typically is behind them, but this was this morning. They started their Polio Plus campaign this morning, and they are painting purple pinkies. How many of you 2 years ago let me paint your finger purple? Okay, well, I'm offering the same today. And you asked me if I had anything to say about highway cleanup. If you were not there, I'm going to ask you to make sure that we support these kids, because these are the same kids that were out doing our highway cleanup. To support these kids and get your finger painted this morning and this afternoon before you leave. T-shirts, I just want to show the t-shirts real quick that we have for Morgan kids. We are looking for sponsors for the t-shirt. Do you have it on?
Yeah.
The t-shirt.
Oh, this is the t-shirt.
We're looking to do the same for Valpo Interact. I personally bought them for the kids because I didn't have time to go through, and so I don't know what we're gonna do, but this is their third service project since the first of the year. So I was not waiting to get them. I wanted them to be wearing them. They've done the South County cook-off. They did the highway cleanup. They're all wearing them today. They earned their t-shirt by participating in the service project. So find me, I'm gonna go to a table back there afterwards if you want to get your finger painted. I have several bottles of nail polish if anybody wants to.
Does it cost something to get your pinky painted?
Oh yeah, it's $1. The dollar, you can give me whatever you want. Each dollar pays for one vaccine for one child.
And page 5 of this magazine shows Debbie giving those vaccines, oral vaccines in India. Okay, Chris Kraus, come on up and introduce our awesome speakers today.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce Opportunity Enterprises, now serving over 1,400 families annually and employing over 360 employees. They are a staple in our community. OE provides programs primarily in the areas of residential, educational, and employment. They also operate social enterprises, and 70% of their employees have a documented disability. Their social enterprises include Secure Shred, Simply Amazing Market, Outsource Solutions, and Clean Team to provide business and consumer products and services to our community, and their profits support the mission of OE. Today, we have 3 integral team members of OE with us. Neil Samahan, who's president and CEO. Neil is a former board member and has a daughter being served by OE. We have Casey Ensign, Chief Development Communications Officer for almost 11 years now. And then Rick Amrine, past board member and a son who has been served by OE for 18 years. So welcome to the OE team. Come up and say more, please.
Give Casey a second to get the slides going. Gotta love technology, right? Anyhow, I'll get started. Good afternoon, Rotarians. A couple months ago, I completed a 9-year term on the board of Opportunity Enterprises. And for more than 50 years, Opportunity Enterprises' mission has been focused on maximizing self-sufficiency and enriching the quality of life for individuals with disabilities. OE's vision is to create a fully integrated community where life for people with disabilities is valued, filled with purpose, and helps them reach their fullest potential. Today, we are excited to share with you a very special place where barriers don't exist for people with disabilities. I want to share with you why this project is so important to me and my family. My wife Sue and I have a son, Richie, who has been served by OE for the past 18 years. Richie has Prader-Willi syndrome, a very rare genetic condition where he is missing a portion of his 15th chromosome, causing developmental and physical challenges. Richie is now 36 years old and very social. Cognitively, he's at about a 4th grade level, and quantitatively, he's at about a 1st grade level. But he has a college level vocabulary. So he can't give you change for a quarter, but he can launch a pretty strong argument about why you should give him money for the vending machine. Physically, among other things, Richie has an eating disorder causing him to not know when he's full. So he's always hungry, always. Individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome can literally eat themselves to death. Therefore, Richie needs to be supervised every minute of every day, and all food, even things that look or smell like food, must be locked up at all times. So my girls who are younger than Richie spent their whole life at home with everything locked up all the time. Several years ago, I needed to make a trip overseas for work, and my wife needed to come with me. We were at a loss about what to do because we always were the ones who watched Richie throughout the 28 years that he lived with us. It's not like you can just call a babysitter and ask them to watch someone for 2 weeks. And it takes some training and understanding to care for someone like Richie. It was Opportunity Enterprises respite program that saved us. They were able to create a safe environment for Richie while we were away, and he had a blast. In our case, this was a work necessity, but for many other families, they just need a break. Watching a person with special needs every minute, day and night, without break for years or even decades is not only exhausting, but it adversely affects siblings and can limit desired family activities for your entire life. Respite services provide a lifeline for families touched by special needs, and the demand greatly outweighs Opportunity Enterprises' current ability to provide these important services. Now, Casey Ensign, OE's Chief Development and Communications Officer, is going to share more information about this amazing project.
Good. Thank you, Rick, and thanks for sharing your story with us. So as Rick pointed out, Respite, it's a program, and the mission he really illustrated it is twofold. And first, it's for those caregivers. So whether that be a vacation or people needing a break, it's really so they have that opportunity. And the reason why that's so important is because in Indiana, there's funding available for these families, but their children are expected to live at home until they're 80 years old. So if you can imagine if your child needs help bathing, eating, just daily life, 80 years old, that's a long time. So they need throughout their lifetime to be able to have that support. Also for caregivers, they suffer depression at twice the rate of the regular population. So I think as a community to be able to be there and support them is just so vital. And then the other side of it is the client experience. So as you can see by the pictures, Respite is a fantastic opportunity for those individuals with disabilities to have their own independence, to get out of mom and dad's house, have their friends, have a life, and really just enjoy learning what they're interested in their hobbies. So we were really looking at our respite program here at OE and exploring what that looked like. But to get a good idea of the future of respite of OE, we really looked at the nation and what respite programs look like. So there was a national survey done for parents of those children with disabilities, and they reported spending about 57 hours of care caring for their loved one. So I think for parents of newborns or young children, we could say, yeah, that sounds about right. But to keep in mind that the love and care they're providing doesn't end when their child is out of toddler stage. This is a lifetime commitment. So for those families, 86% of them reported they really struggle to find time for themselves, to get a haircut, to go for a walk, maybe go on a date with a spouse. And 83% of them reported they struggle to find opportunities for their child, to just be able to go out and have an inclusive community event. It's really hard to find. So the answer to those two things are respite programs. But for those seeking respite, 92% of them reported that they're struggling to find a quality available program for them. So those are big national results, but what does that look like here in our neighborhood? So in Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties, according to the census, there's 11,700 individuals with a cognitive disability, and that's just those under the age of 34. So if we're really looking just right here in our region, that means there's most likely about 9,000 families that could benefit from services just like respite. So this is OE's current footprint of our respite program, where the majority of our families come from, and they travel about 30 miles to get to OE respite. However, we do have families right now that travel 70 miles just to receive services from OE. So that's really showing you that respite is a program that's not readily available, and it can be really hard to find. We currently have a waiting list of over 60 families wanting services, and we want to meet the needs of our region better. So we are planning to build a new facility. So let me share this with you. All right, so this will be built on a property that we already own out on Lake Eliza. We own 158 acres. So we have the space available to put this up, and it's going to go right next door to an existing building. You can see this is the back of the building. It's on this beautiful hill that overlooks the lake, some mature trees. Just an absolutely gorgeous setting for a fantastic place for relaxation and just enjoying the outdoors. So as guests would enter, they would come up here with their loved one, and it's a buzz secure location. When they come in, they're greeted by their staff. Respite is primarily a one-to-one service. So they would meet with their staff and kind of be on their way of having fun at Respite. Right now you're walking down the adult wing. So we will have 21 bedrooms. So people can spend the night. Some may choose just to come for 4 hours and just hang out for a little bit, but we do have beds available they can stay up to 2 weeks at a time. So we'll go around the facility. There's also accessible restrooms, foyer lifts, a huge laundry room. And right now we're really getting into the heart of the home. So you're seeing a little living room. There'll be 5 different living room areas. So one can have a movie going on, another one can have a Wii tournament or whatever they're choosing to do. A huge sprawling kitchen with some roll-up countertops for those folks in wheelchairs. They love to get together and cook and eat together. Play games, crafts, lots of card games. Here there's a room with a door. So we want to make sure there's also those opportunities to get some quiet time and be alone if somebody wants that. Not so quiet times. Here's our big rec room, so they can throw a ball around, have some fun if they can't get outside if the weather's not great. So next you're going to enter what's called a Snoozeling Room. It's a relaxation room. Dim lighting, soft music. Here's another bedroom you're looking at. This is really exciting. It's on the opposite side of the building. We will have 3 bedrooms that are designated just for children. So a lot of times as kids are growing up, they see brothers and sisters going to sleepovers or off to summer camp. And those kids with disabilities don't have that same opportunity. So here they can come spend the night. It's 24-hour staffing, so someone can check on them throughout the whole night and make sure they're having a good time and enjoying their stay. So there's the front of the building, and one of the exciting outdoor amenities that we'll have is right when we build the building, you might recall in the back, there's a big hill kind of overlook the lake and some trees. We'll be building a fully accessible tree house. So it'll be a 400 square foot tree house, and right off that back patio, there'll be a bridge that goes straight out to it. So I'm sure we're also excited to see that first day for maybe someone who's always been in a wheelchair or used to walk or can't climb a tree. Just their faces and what they're going to experience that first time crossing the bridge out into that tree house. So we're so very excited to build this. We will be breaking ground this May, so May of 2022. So can't wait to get started on this. And I'm going to show you a quick video here. We thought it'd just be nice to share with you another illustration of a family who's used Respite. And then after that, Sam will come up. All right, maybe not. Give us just a second.
How do I define struggle? Struggling is when I didn't know what the options were for our family, for Tyler. What a horrible place to be when you don't know what your options are. Tyler was born perfectly normal. After he turned 1 week after his first birthday, he contracted encephalitis.
We were told he wouldn't eat on his own. More than likely, he wouldn't walk. He wouldn't ride a bike. He wouldn't swim.
Tyler needed at the time when we brought him home and remains the same. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
100%.
He needs supervision.
Hands-on.
Hands-on.
Well, regardless of what the doctors told us, it's very important that everything his sisters and younger brother had an opportunity to do, so did Tyler. He's well surpassed what he was ever supposed to be capable of doing.
As time progressed and Tyler became more challenging, our normal was 100 miles an hour, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We were the only ones that were able to provide that for Tyler. How do you fit time in for a marriage, for yourself? And we have 4 children, and knowing that one special child needs even more than the other 3. It's a lot of weight to carry. It just takes so much out of you.
I would work extreme hours. I'd get home and I could be pulling her hair out. I'd attempt to try to take over, and it was like nonstop. You go to sleep, and the next morning it all starts all over again.
God forbid something happened to Daryl or myself. What's going to happen to Tyler? Who's going to care for Tyler? We needed to find some help. We had known about Opportunity Enterprises when we found that they were opening a respite home. What an opportunity this would be for Tyler, and a great home away from home for him. As skeptical as I was to leave him anywhere, I really believed that he was going to be okay there.
We have never been away from Tyler overnight. The whole night we were thinking, I hope he's okay. I hope everything's all right.
When we picked Tyler up that next morning, the staff said, wow, he was great. He's so much fun. He's such a doll. They had no troubles. And I thought, wow.
Tyler is very comfortable, and the only other place you find that is in our house.
He knows that he's going to be greeted with friendly faces, and that it's going to be a fun place for him. He's going to see people and interact with people.
It's not just let's put him in this corner, 2 hours later come back and check on him. No, it's one-on-one, and that care provider is participating with him.
I'm always concerned with Tyler's well-being. When I take him and drop him off at the respite house, I don't have those reservations. I'm gonna be better for Tyler if I have some time to regroup.
To know that our child can be cared for as if we were caring for him ourselves, just an answer to a prayer.
I'm Peggy.
And I'm Daryl, and we're Opportunity Enterprise parents.
We are proof that there's hope for children with special needs and families like ours. And we found that through Opportunity Enterprises.
I don't know how many times I've seen that video, and it gets me every time I was sitting there telling myself, whatever you do, don't look at them. So we're actually maybe turning to. 10 years ago when I moved to Valparaiso, I wasn't aware of Opportunity Enterprises. I didn't know it existed. I worked in the area, in business in the area, but didn't know it existed until I took a tour. Happened by chance to learn about OE, and was motivated to see what it was about. But really, it was transformational. As my daughter was living in Southern Illinois, not living with me, took the tour, and I immediately just got a sense as I walked through the facility that there was a difference between OE and other agencies that I was familiar with as my daughter received services over the years. And that really was the experience that I saw that our clients got, that their clients got at the time, between the caregivers and them. And to me, that was the most valuable and most important thing that we offer to our clients who serve at Opportunity Enterprises is that experience they get with us, regardless of the service, the type of service they get from us. Whether it's in respite, whether it's in residential, whether it's curriculum, or in job placement. It's what is that experience they're receiving from OE that is so important. This process, this program, this venture really is so important to the lives of the folks that are served through this. The time away that the clients get, the time alone that parents get is very important. Though respite is specifically geared towards really the caregivers, so they get respite. Again, we're Opportunity Enterprises. We're absolutely motivated by what kind of experience can we give to the folks we serve. This project is really transformational. It's foundational for the property that we own at Lakeside, 158 acres. So as we progress, as this house gets built, what I can't share with you really is that next phase, but know that it will be transformation. So this is very important to us. Some of you may know that we've hired Walter Lankos. He was the Porter County Park Superintendent for some 10 years. Prior to that, his experience is based in activity type adventures. So as we look to even enhance the services that we provide to respite, you can kind of venture to guess there'll be a lot of activities out there. But we started this even at a much smaller level. Before he came to OE, started having conversations with him in parks. And this past year, we had camps at the facility. And these were designed and advertised out to the entire community, but focusing on also those individuals with disability. And what was so cool, and really what we knew would happen, was this. There's 5 clients, of 21 clients, 21 individuals that participated in the camps. Only 5 individuals had a disability. What was kind of cool about that, in a sense, is those 5 clients were not currently served by OE, so it does speak to the need that's out there for this type of activity. What was even cooler about that is the other 16 participants that joined that didn't have a disability. Their families, many of those families specifically communicated to us that the reason they chose this camp is because it was inclusive, because it had individuals with disability. It was a mixed camp that offered them the experience to engage and be with other folks, which is so very important at a very young age. And I mean, right, it's even some of us, right? Sometimes we don't know how to interact, engage with someone with a disability. When you're playing, when you're at that level, just trying to either play or help, I think really breaks that barrier. So we look to continue to have these camps and then potentially even more as this progresses. As Casey mentioned, I think maybe even Chris mentioned, that we serve over 1,400 individuals. Again, service types varies. And for this, as I became CEO, which now it's been a little bit more than one pandemic, right? You know, I certainly understood and really focused on, right, what are the experiences that our folks get. Really during this time, really underscores the significance that we have in the lives of those that we serve and their parents. But it really got me to thinking about that, just that, our significance. And I've been having this conversation with local legislators, state legislators, other officials in public office, and even the folks in economic development, just about our significance to this region, to this community. We are one of the largest employers in Porter County, certainly Valpo. We employ 360 individuals. Our estimated payroll this year is budgeted at $12.7 million. It's 360 people employed, $12.7 million goes back into this community. As we talk about enhancing this region, bringing in new employers, having people move to this area, one thing we also have to recognize is that our services can be sometimes more important than illustrating that we have a good school district. Why? Because our responsibility to our children does not end at the age of 18. So as we're engaging with employers, as we're talking to people about moving to this community, it's really to let them know that OE is here and has these services that are provided to them lifelong in a wide variety of ways. Certainly during this time, when many of us are having a difficulty searching for employees to fill vacancies, know that we are in that area as well. Being that link and providing coaching, providing services to employ individuals with a disability into the community. There's many community partners that we have that employ quite a number of individuals. And we're in a considerable number of high schools. Essentially anyone with an IEP can receive our services. Thus, again, why we reach so many people, why we serve so many people. So to think about that as not only are we providing services to an individual that needs our care and services, we are instrumental and foundational to this community. So very important. Oftentimes I don't think people recognize OE in that light. I think it's very, very important. So breaking ground in May of 2022, we're looking at about a year-long process. So the facility opens in May of 2023. Again, this is our first chore is to get this thing built and then get our folks in there enjoying the services. And through this, speaking about support throughout the community really is Rotary. I think over the last 20 years, this club, through a variety of projects ranging from education to some of our construction projects, we've donated to OE $30,000 to support the men and women of Opportunity Enterprises. So certainly as the CEO today of Opportunity Enterprises, but as a parent of an individual that is served by OE, thank you to this organization. So can't wait to show you the results once this building is going and come back and talk about what's next. So it's super exciting. So thank you.
Thank you. God bless you guys for what you do for families, for children, for the community. And I'm sure Ellen's gleaming with pride and joy. She served many years at Opportunity Enterprises and added a lot of values. So proud of you. Okay, so we have to close. We're giving a children's book to the library in honor of you guys presenting today. We appreciate you. Our next meeting will be our Valparaiso Fire Chief, Chad Dutz, speaking for our leadership series. The meeting after that will be our roundtable mentoring and discussions, and I encourage you all to please come for that. I approached some of our young leadership series attendees and enrollees about changing one of those to fit in another speaker, and they said, please don't change the mentoring tables. We have really appreciated that and gained so much. So I wanted you guys to know that you've been very important to that, and thank you for that. And with that, is there any more comments? We can stand and close with the four-way test. And I love you guys all. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun?